talk NFL playoffs. Let me tell you what's going to happen in this year's NFL playoffs. And if Denver doesn't get in, I'd be shocked. And I got some notes here I'm going to look down, so bear with me. Let's start with the Detroit Lions. The team is just amazing on offense. It's so hard to stop them. They're in rhythm. They're just amazing. Teams are going to really need to win the turnover battle against the Detroit Lions to beat them. Although their defense is they're really banged up and giving up a lot of points lately. But I don't think that's going to matter in a lot of these games, as their offense really is they're just unbelievable. And I think they can overcome a lot of these defensive injuries. I mean, it's like a well-oiled machine. Every drive, it's going to be hard to stop the Lions. So you're going to have to win the turnover battle to beat the Detroit Lions. And the Bucs, the second team I'm talking about, is the most dangerous team for the Lions. This team is finally healthy. They lost a couple key starters, wide receivers back in week 4 or 3, and they're healthy, and they found a running game. Yes, they finally found a running game. And believe me, their 2-4 starter, whatever they started off the season, that was a fluke. And their defense is playing much better than people expected as well. That's one of the teams I have a Super Bowl bet on. I have 3 Super Bowl bets. They're still all alive. Bucs at 80-1, Washington Commanders at 45-1, and the Chiefs at 4-1. Those are my 3. So I might be a little bit biased in this video. And if the Bucs play the Lions, it's all going to come down to who stops who and who wins the turnover battle, because the Bucs can score at will on the Lions just as the Lions can score on the Bucs. So if they match up in the first week of the playoffs, which could happen, it's going to be a high-scoring game, and don't be surprised if the Bucs win. Both the Bucs and the Lions have a shot to make it to the Super Bowl, I think. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. I love the Bills. I think they're a great team. But it's playoff time. Allen was on a mission to win the MVP for the regular season, and he still, may get that. But it's playoff time. And the Bills have not fared well in the playoffs. Something always seems to sting the Bills. Chiefs, Chiefs, Chiefs. But the Bills' defense has been impressive to me this year, and much healthier than in years past. And thank God the Bills are playing at home for their sake, because they haven't impressed me on the road at all. They haven't beat a quality A NFL team. I mean, top A-tier team on the road all year. And when they faced Baltimore, lost by 25. Lost at Houston by 3. Lost at the Rams. Beat Detroit, but Detroit's been banged up. But luckily, they're playing at home, the Bills. They'll get through round 1 with the Broncos very easily, but going forward, I don't know about the Bills. I don't think they make it to the Super Bowl. Broncos, they have no shot against the Bills in round 1, and you don't ever want to be backing into the playoffs, which the Broncos are. And to be honest, the Broncos have really had a Cinderella season. Who would have thought Bo Nix would be Bo Nix? The way he's playing, and believe me, their coaching, got to give it to Sean Payton. I think he might be head coach of the year. Drop in the comments who you think should be head coach of the year. And having to play on the road, the Broncos really haven't been that bad on the road, yet they haven't played a really top A or B tiered NFL team either. Early in the season, they did beat the Bucs 26-7 on the road. They beat the Jets, but the Jets are the Jets 10-9. They beat the New Orleans Saints, but the New Orleans Saints were banged up. Got crushed at Baltimore by 31. Kansas City, they only lost by 2. That was a close one at KC, so they're capable. They beat the Raiders on the road. They beat they lost to the Chargers, and they lost to the Bengals. But they've been close games. So what do you think about the Broncos? It's going to be tough to beat Buffalo, and I don't think they have a shot, but they had a good season. Pittsburgh Steelers. Simply, teams are figuring out the Steelers, and either they're figuring out the Steelers or Russell Wilson's just getting old again. But either way, here's another team backing into the playoffs, not playing well. On a 4-game slide and about to go on number 5 against the Bengals. But the Steelers, they're capable. Yeah, they're definitely capable if they bring their A game. But they haven't, and their defense is really playing poorly. And if their defense is playing poorly, their A game must be on offense to win games. Got blown out at home against Kansas City. 29-10 wasn't even close. Blown out at Baltimore, 34-17. Blown out at Philly, 27-13. Are they just playing through the motions and trying to get healthy, or is this really the Steelers team, their real team? Either way, Steelers defense is not playing well. Russell Wilson's not playing well lately. They have to play their top A game to move on. And if they play the Houston Texans, who have just been going through the motions all year long, haven't looked impressive, haven't played their A game yet. They really haven't played their A game. They're missing a lot of key players like Tank Dell, and it's very hard for Stroud to get on course and to be in rhythm by losing all these key pieces each week. That's why Stroud hasn't played well. You haven't seen the best of the Texans yet, trust me. And we all know what Stroud is capable of. All I can say is watch out for the Houston Texans in the playoffs. It's a different team. Well coached, solid defense, great quarterback, and a team that's yet to play their A game. Ravens will probably play the Chargers. Complete mismatch. Ravens can light it up at any time, and their defense is actually playing a little bit better down the stretch. Limited the Texans to 2 points. Steelers to only 17. 14 to the Giants. Only 24 to Philly on the road. 23 to the Chargers on the road, though. Only 18 to Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. They've been playing well, their defense. And their offense is really unstoppable with Lamar. And he's playing great. Just a matter if Lamar can get it together in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Chargers, they played the weakest schedule. And they are not a Super Bowl caliber team. And this will be an easy blowout in round one. Chargers have no shot. The Chargers really have only beaten up on very weak teams. And their offense is just, they must be on their 100% on their A game to move the ball and to continue drives and to get it into the end zone, because their offense is really not that good. And their defense is giving up a lot of points lately, which they didn't earlier in the season. Gave up 27 to Cincinnati, gave up 30 to Baltimore, gave up 40 to Tampa Bay, gave up 27 to Denver. Their defense hasn't been playing like they were earlier in the season, and their offense is really not that great. So it's an early exit for the Chargers. Just look at the Chargers' schedule. Raiders, Panthers, Broncos, Cardinals, Saints, Browns, Titans, Bengals, Broncos. Just a weak schedule. And they lost to all the top teams they played. Pitt, KC, Ravens, Bucks, lost to all four. And talking about a weak schedule, I mean, I know you play who you play, and that's the schedule given to you. But the Bills had a weak schedule too. In the next video, we're going to talk about the Eagles. On paper, the Eagles are the best team in the NFL. But can they make it to the Super Bowl?